began, how God created it by hand, from mighty mountains to the raging sea, to every leaf on every single tree. It's in the holy book. Just open up and take a look. It's a story for young and old, the greatest story ever told. So lend an ear and you will hear the greatest story. The greatest story.
In the beginning, there was God. The earth was empty and dark. God looked over the surface of the world. It was time for something to happen.
Let there be light.
And the earth became light.
I shall call the light day and the darkness night.
And so there had been darkness and then light. And that was the world's very first day. Now, God was just getting started. The next thing to do was to make the sky above the world and to fill the sky with clouds. And that was the second day of the world. On the third day, God separated the water from the dry land. God made all kinds of things to put on the land. There were rocks and mountains, valleys, deserts, and beaches. There were big islands and little islands. There were oceans and seas, rivers and lakes. But there was still more to come on the third day, because God wasn't done yet. It was time to make all the plants. God made tall trees and short bushes, vines, ferns, leaves, and flowers. God gave all the flowers a different size, color, shape, and smell. And all the grasses and plants and trees that make seeds and fruits were made on the third day too. On the fourth day, God made a brilliant light in the sky called the sun to light up the day, and a silvery one called the moon to add some light to the nighttime. And as a special touch, God added billions of twinkling stars to the night. On the fifth day, God made some creatures to live in this beautiful world. There were birds, and more birds, and more birds. And in the rivers and oceans and seas and lakes, God made fish. And the oceans were full of all sorts of amazing creatures. And that was the end of the 5th day. But there was still a lot more for God to do. On the 6th day, it was time to make the rest of the animals. There were so many animals to make. Big animals, and small animals. There were spotted animals, and horned animals, every one of God's animals was beautiful. Now, on this 6th day, God did something else that was very important. God created the first man. And that man was called Adam. Then God blew the breath of life right into Adam.
Where am I?
Welcome to the world, Adam.
Who are you?
I am God. Look around you. All the plants of the earth and all their seeds and all their fruits, I give them to you. And all the animals. You have power over them as well. Everything is yours to use, to care for, and protect.
Sit. Sit, please.
God looked over everything and was happy. And on the 7th day, God rested.
Ah, it is very good.
Now, God wanted Adam to live in the most wonderful place that could ever be. So God planted a beautiful garden for Adam to live in. It was called the Garden of Eden. God made a great river run through the garden, and then the river split into 4 great rivers. Adam had all the animals for company in the garden.
Whoa. Excuse me. Hey!
Adam's first job was to name all the animals.
This new request from God sounds like it's quite a job. I'm going to be as busy as a bee. I've got to search my brain and come up with a name for every living, breathing thing I see. You with the large brown spots, eating from treetops, your neck is the biggest part of you. Twisting round so easily, I believe your name will be Stretchy. Now that's pretty catchy. Or perhaps Giraffe will do. The jungle must belong to one so fierce and strong. I shiver and tremble at your growl. So you with the flowing mane, I give you the kingly name, Rory. No, that fits you poorly. Maybe lion is fine for now. Those flippy flappy things, I think I'll call them wings. And creatures they're attached to will be birds. The redbreast will be robin, ostrich, that big odd one. Parrot is the clawed one who repeats all my words. I'd say your fancy shell protects you very well, although it can slow you down a bit. So you with the scaly skin, I name you and all your kin Pokey. Nah, too hokey. Know your word'll be turtle, yeah, just right. The swimmers in the sea will mostly fishes be, with whale and snail and lobster one and all. The orange one is goldfish, cod, the ice cold fish. Tadpole has the bold wish of one day being frog. The way you jump around, you hardly touch the ground, and scamper so fast you're just a blur. So you with the cottontail, you'll be known on every trail as Hopper. No, that's not proper. Oh, I have it, you're rabbit for sure. It's still early in the day, and I'm well on my way to naming every animal I know. Why, there's only 500,000 more to go.
Looks like you've got a dear friend. I'd like to have a friend too.
There were many animals to name. Adam grew very tired of trying to decide what to call each one. Now, God looked down on Adam sleeping there in the garden, and Adam looked very alone. And God decided that Adam needed a companion, someone to be with. God decided it was time to make another person, so God created woman.
What?
Hello.
Hello. I mean, hi. Shucks.
Where am I?
You're in God's garden, the Garden of Eden. It's really nice here, you'll see. These are my friends. This is Monkey, and this is Dog, and this is, I haven't named you yet, have I? Gee, I guess you need a name too, don't you? How do you like Eve?
Oh, it's lovely. Eve. I like it. And I like this place.
Me too. You see, God made this garden for me. I mean, us, to live in. And everything's pretty, and you can eat anything you want. And
Not quite.
Who was that?
that was God.
Oh.
God's the one who made us.
There is one fruit in all the garden that you may not eat.
There is?
This is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You may eat of anything else in the garden, but you may not eat the fruit from this tree.
Okay, tree of knowledge of good and evil. No eating. Absolutely no eating.
Right. Anything else in the garden is okay, but not that tree.
Definitely not that tree.
Right.
And so Adam and Eve lived very happily in the Garden of Eden. Until one day,
I'm so happy, life's a breeze, picking fruit from off the trees. La 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 la.
Howdy.
Oh, you startled me. Hello. What are you called?
Why, I'm a serpent. Nice to meet ya.
Nice to meet you too.
Nice day, isn't it?
Very nice day.
Nice tree, isn't it?
Very nice tree.
Nice fruit.
I have to go now.
No, you don't. We're just getting to know each other. You don't want to hurt my feelings, do ya?
No.
Good, because I want us to be very good friends. Now, as I was saying, it's nice fruit, isn't it? You can eat it, you know.
Eat what?
You know what I'm talking about. The fruit of this tree. You can eat it.
The fruit of this tree? No, I can't eat that.
Sure you can. It's easy. It tastes great.
We're not allowed to eat that. God said so. God said we'd be in big trouble if we ate that fruit.
Nah, you won't be in trouble. God just doesn't want you to eat the fruit from this tree, because if you eat it, you'll get smart. Like God. What's the matter? Are you a chicken?
I'm not a chicken.
Well then, why not give it a shot? just one teeny tiny taste. God probably won't even notice. And this fruit, I'm telling you, is incredible.
No, I really can't.
I'll never tell. Try it.
Well, if it won't kill me, and it'll make me smart, maybe just one tiny taste. Sort of a lick, not even a bite, really. Oh, how bad could that be? Wow!
Pretty good, huh?
I've got to tell Adam about this. Adam! Adam! You'll never guess what just happened.
What?
You know the fruit?
Which fruit?
You know, the one we weren't supposed to eat.
What about it? You didn't. Did you?
I did.
Eve, how could you?
Adam, it's great. I want you to try it too. That serpent over there told me all about it. I just took a little bite, that's all.
But Eve will really get it if we eat that fruit.
I didn't get it, did I?
I guess not.
Just take a tiny bite. God's probably not even looking. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know. It was good, but suddenly I feel kind of scared. I just feel so, I don't know, so sort of naked. Good grief! I'm naked!
Yikes! I'm naked too!
That's better.
What were we thinking?
Uh-oh.
I think God's coming.
I think we're in trouble.
Big trouble.
I think we're gonna get it now.
We better hide.
Adam, Eve, what are you doing?
We're, hiding.
Why?
Well, we didn't want you to see us. We did a bad thing. We were scared.
How did you know these things? Did you eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil?
Well, yes, but it was her fault. She talked me into it.
It wasn't my fault. That serpent talked me into it.
I am not happy. You have disobeyed me.
We're sorry.
We're really sorry.
I'm not worried. What can happen to me?
You, serpent, will crawl on your belly and eat dust forever.
Ah, no!
You will fear people, and people will fear you. This is your punishment for all time. And you, Adam and Eve, because I trusted you and you disobeyed me, you must leave the garden. Life was easy for you here, but it will not be easy outside. You will have to work hard, and your children will have to work hard. You will know what it means to hurt and suffer pain. Here are some garments to keep you warm after you leave the garden. Now go.
God put an angel with a flaming sword at the entrance to the garden, so Adam and Eve could never go back. But even though Adam and Eve had disobeyed God, even though they had to leave the garden, God still loved them.
I'm sorry, Eve.
I'm sorry too, Adam. I guess we're all alone now.
Not quite alone.
And thus began Adam and Eve's new life outside the garden. From then on, Their life was filled with joy and sadness, good things and bad. But even though they could never go back to the garden, God did not abandon Adam and Eve. God always watched over them, wherever they went, forever after. A long time ago, there were many, many people on the earth. And everyone did whatever they wanted to, without love for each other. They cared more about themselves than they did about other people. God was very sad because everyone had forgotten his way. Everyone, that is, except for Noah and his family. Noah and his family worked very hard, and they kept all of God's ways in their hearts.
All right, that's enough for today. You boys can finish that tomorrow.
But Father, we almost had it. Just a few more minutes.
God knows how hard you work, Japheth, my boy, and so do I. But God also wants us to keep up our strength so that we can do His work.
You're right again, Father. You must be the wisest man in the world.
Me? Oh, no. I might be the happiest man in the world, but the wisest, I think not. But enough talking. We'd better hurry. I think we're having your mother's stew tonight, and we wouldn't want it to get cold.
Noah and his family had a hard life, but they loved each other very much, and they always had enough to eat. Noah never forgot that it was God who made all of those things possible.
And thank you, God, for everything you've given to me and my family. Thank you for the strength to work hard, and for fields that are good for growing, and for the food on our table. Amen.
Amen.
What's this? It sounds like we have visitors. Well, you must be hungry. Dear, will you please bring me a bit of meat and a bone from the stew? I think our friends need something to eat. All of God's creatures are important. There you go. Enjoy. Nothing like a good dinner, isn't that right?
You're a good man, Noah.
More?
One night after supper, everyone kissed Noah good night and went to bed. But Noah didn't go to bed at his usual time. He had a strange feeling.
You look sleepy, dear. Why don't you go to bed?
Are you coming?
Soon. I don't feel tired. I think I'll go out and look at the stars for a bit.
Noah went out of his house for some fresh air. He had a feeling he couldn't explain. He didn't know that God was leading him outside.
Ooh, what is this?
Noah?
God, is that you?
Yes, Noah, it is. Please listen to the important things I have to say to you. Noah, people do not love one another as they should. So I have decided to wash the earth with a flood and start over.
This is terrible news.
Don't be afraid, Noah. I'm telling you this because you are the only man who still has me in his heart. I have chosen you and your family to help me start over. Listen carefully. I want you to build a boat, Noah. an ark.
So much to do. Oh, I've got to get my boys and have them help me. Wake up! I need you to help me with a big project.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm serious. An ark. A big, big ark. It's okay. Go ahead and laugh. You'll see. This field should be big enough.
Build it from fresh, sticky wood. Make it 450 feet long, 75 feet across, and 45 feet high. Seal the planks with tar.
Whoa!
And inside, build an upper, middle, and lower deck.
Hi, Father!
Hi!
Make an opening all the way around the ark, just below the upper deck.
Yay!
And last, put a door in the side big enough for the largest animals of the earth to walk through. Next, bring 2 of every animal on the earth with you, each with a safe place on the ark.
Noah and his family worked very hard.
Father, we're finished.
We have done well, my sons.
Where is this old man who says a flood is coming? Lead me to the crazy fool.
My father is no fool.
Only a fool would build a big silly boat in the middle of his field. Now let's take a good look at... You really are a crazy old man. Anyone who would do this...
You would be wise to listen to what I say. God has told me that a terrible flood is coming. So much to do, so little time.
Father?
It's fair to warn them, Shem.
Warn us about what? The flood that's never coming? Come on, let's get out of here. Let's leave this crazy old man alone.
There now. Thank you for helping us. I guess we made ourselves some friends, eh? And it looks like we have our first passengers. Now, if I can only figure out how we're going to find all the rest of the animals.
Shh, quiet now, you two. Can't you see he's trying to think?
Father, look!
It's a miracle!
And it was a miracle. God had done something wonderful. He'd brought 2 of every animal to the ark. And they were on their very best behavior. Even the lions lay down with the lambs.
Tigers? Wildebeests? Zebras? Whoa! God will protect us all. Well, that does it. Everybody's here.
What do we do now, Father?
We wait for the rain.
It doesn't look like we'll have to wait long, Father. Look!
Suddenly, the clouds began to gather and cold winds began to blow.
Noah, the time has come to take your family and the animals onto the ark. Soon the rain will start.
Let's go! Everybody on?
All clear down here. Ready. I'll close the door.
Don't be afraid, my dear. God will protect us all.
The rain covered the whole earth. Even the highest mountains disappeared underwater. Except for the animals and people on the ark, There was nothing else left. During their long trip, Noah and his family became very close with the animals. They were all good friends.
Groundhogs hide and monkeys climb and long-eared rabbits run. With this bunch, I have a hunch we'll have fantastic fun.
Hyenas laugh at the tall giraffes, skinny legs and neck. While toads amuse the kangaroos with leapfrog up on deck.
Noah and his floating zoo sail the ocean two by two, from the elephants to the tiny ants. We all are friends on the floating zoo.
Night owls hoot
And cattle moo, and dogs bark right along, while chimpanzees sing quite off key in this happy song. Noah and his floating zoo sail the ocean two by two, from the elephants to the tiny ants. We all are friends on the floating zoo. Friends on the floating zoo.
And the whole time, Noah watched to see when the rain would stop, but it just kept coming down. It rained and rained like it would never stop. It rained for a month, then another week. Then, after 40 days and 40 nights, the rain stopped. Noah was so excited, he called a family meeting.
I've called you all here because I have a surprise for you. The rain has stopped.
What? That's wonderful!
This is too good to be true. When do we get off?
Well, I think if all goes well, the ground should start to peek through in about another, 6 months or so.
Everybody was disappointed to hear this news because although they all loved one another, they were all pretty tired of being on that ark. But they waited patiently. Many months passed.
Well, what did you see? What did you see?
Same as always. Nothing but sea.
We're never going to get off this boat. How are we even going to know if the land is dry?
How are we even going to know if we're anywhere near land?
This is hopeless.
Now what kind of talk is that? Are you the same men who helped me build God's ark? Hasn't he looked out for us this long?
Of course, Father is right. But can we at least try to find out if there's any dry land?
This got Noah thinking. Finally, he got an idea. He went and got one of the ravens and brought him to the slit in the ark. Then he let him go. He thought if the raven found land, he might bring something back with him. But when the raven returned, he didn't bring anything with him. So Noah decided he would try letting a dove go.
Good luck.
But the dove returned with nothing as well. But Noah knew God wouldn't abandon them. He waited a while longer. Then, one last time, he sent out the dove again. This time, when the dove returned, it brought something back. In its mouth, it carried a branch from an olive tree.
Father, this is wonderful news. We must be very close to dry land.
Yes, son. If you believe in God, he will save us all.
And you protected us too.
And sure enough, very soon, the ark landed on top of a tall mountain. When it was safe to come out, God spoke to Noah again.
Noah, you and your family and the animals can come out now. The earth is dry. Go out into the world and have many children, and tell them about me. And so you will always know that I won't ever flood the world again. I'm going to leave a gift in the sky after it rains. Something to remind you of my promise.
And so Noah and his family thanked God for all he had done for them. And Noah's sons had many, many good and strong children who loved God very much.